Good morning, welcome to Orta Know Better, another Berardi and Coke after another frustrating bloody match. I'm going to roll as the old intro and we'll get into that shit.
Okay.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds eating bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
You tend to play it a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Nothing spectacular, Karl. What are you saying?
Back to bringing that old chestnut out again, are we?
I don't even know what to make of what happened last night, but it's made me feel a certain way, and I've got a little something prepared just to show you how I feel. So I'm just gonna fire this off straight away for you.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty much how I feel today. I don't know about you.
Well, like, I'm kind of, to be fair, I did mention on Not Another Leeds podcast last night that I was optimistic. I didn't say I was optimistic. I said I was quietly confident, but I was treating it like the Plymouth game.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, because I'm not really as annoyed about it as I probably should be. Kind of expected it. Yeah.
I had a feeling it might happen, but you hope that that's not going to be the case, don't you?
Yeah.
I've got some kind of lag going on my camera at the moment. I've not been able to sort, by the way. So as long as you can hear me, that's what matters.
Yeah, that's all. As long as we can see you go to the moon again, then that's all right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can go to the moon again if needed. Yeah, I might actually send myself there after last night, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
off we go.
Wouldn't be a bad shout
to
there.
The
No.
moon.
Just go and sit on the top of the North Stand.
Escape. Yeah, it's just escape from all the madness.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What did you make of it? Because I've got my opinion on how it went, but what did you make of it?
Wank, basically.
From start to finish?
No, it's more frustrating because we started so well and we played so good, and we looked like we were going to smash them off the fucking park. We looked like we were going to just run away with that game.
Yeah. And
I don't understand how you go from playing that good to suddenly stopping. And it's not even like we stopped at half time. We stopped at about 40 minutes. They don't score that goal if we're paying attention. We switched on.
Do you think, is it more that it might have been a little bit of arrogance creeping in, that we could slow the play down to just get to half time? Do you think was that something that might have gone through their heads?
Possibly, because there's obviously some kind of complacency going on. I mean, they must think, we're ace, we've got these beat.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling off them, all right. Like it's especially, like you said, after the 40-minute mark, we didn't look like we were playing the way we'd played for 40 minutes, or for 39 minutes prior to that. I think
like a different team.
Yeah, I think again it's one of those games where we should have been out of sight at halftime, and we shouldn't have even been having this conversation. We should have been at least three goals up at halftime.
I think so too.
Our finishing, as good as it is, it's not clinical enough.
No.
We don't finish easy chances. It seems to be sometimes the overcomplicated ones where it's intricate in the last part of the 18-yard box and that we seem to put away. But then when it comes to simple efforts, we can't seem to pick the right pass or take a shot that's just on target. Like Dan James had a great chance to square it right across the box, and he chose to blaze it over the bar. And that's not a criticism of him. He's been on a hot streak at the moment as well. You can't dig him out for that. But at the same time, it's those easy clinical passes that we're missing, and we're not actually doing anything with it. Then that's the frustrating thing at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and it's just happening too often. And while I trust Farker and I believe in him, I need him to show me that he's doing something to stamp this out.
Yeah, there needs to be some form of kick in the hole now, where that this is a 90-minute game, not just like first half, 10 minutes of the second. Like we didn't really. I don't recall us really creating much of note in the second half.
We did hardly anything in the second half.
That's what I mean. Like you could point at maybe the Anthony chance, then the Anthony disallowed goal. Then you could maybe look at Piroe got into a good position and he tried to bend it in the far post when it would have been again easier to play it square to the. I think it was Somerville was kind of just on the edge of the box when Piroe was in there. He had time to square it. It's those kinds of decisions, and I don't know if that's Piroe going, look, I need to score here, I'm the striker or whatever, or the fact that they're told if you get into a position, have a pop, like.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult, like, because the pass, there's a couple of passes yesterday that were very obvious. I know it's harder on the pitch, like, but you know where your players are going to be, the players in your team are going to be, so the pass is always going to be on. Like, it's I don't know, they get paid enough to be able to pick the head up and have a look, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I were really disappointed with that one from Somerville when Piroe was like, it was away. There was no one around him and he didn't play it.
Yeah.
Do you remember on that break? And he took it on himself into the area and the chance were gone then. And I were really gutted he didn't play it to Piroe.
Yeah.
He needs to score a couple more for me because he's not contributing enough at the moment. We know he can. We know it's there. We just need to see it. We don't want him to take on the curse of Leeds strikers past.
Absolutely not. Like, but then again, you're kind of going, look, he's still bedding into the club, and it's essentially a brand new forward line. So you kind of look at those elements of it as well. But I said, I'm not sure who I was saying. Did I say it on the pod last night? I just might have mentioned about Somerville letting the ball go a little earlier. There was one or two times where he played Rotherham in, and fantastic ball. Don't get me wrong, absolutely brilliant. He's cut inside, and then he's seen the run from Rotherham. But there was a touch beforehand where he could have played Rotherham in, where he was actually making the run.
Yeah.
And then he just drifted offside a little bit because, you know, one touch too many, stuff like that. And it's those kind of things I feel we need to eliminate. And we need to eliminate them fairly quickly because they're starting to cost us good opportunities and potential points on the board. Like,
yeah, that's it. And speaking of costing us points, our good friend Paddy Bamford popped up again. Wrong place, wrong time, as per. And if he'd not gone for that ball, we'd have won that game.
Yeah, but then I saw someone saying if Pat doesn't get a touch on it, does it even fall to Anthony, and does it get mopped up by the defender behind him? Which is a fair point as well. Like, but when you look at how tight it was, like that would have been a close VAR decision, you know, that kind of way.
Oh God, yeah, that would have been one of them that I'd had to look at for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, because you could see Pat's body, his upper body is onside, and he's moving back in that direction. But his foot then is offside, so they'd probably, you know, it'd be like, is he advancing or is he retreating, or, you know, and it's just like you can't blame the officials for that. At the end of the day, he got it right, like, but it was so tight.
Technically, you know? He did, but fuck me, I jumped out of my chair when we scored it. I thought we've fucking done it, you know. It's just so frustrating, and as I said in the group chat last night, I'm not blaming Bamford for the fact we didn't win that game because we were diabolical for 50 minutes. Do you know what I mean? That's not on him. It's just another one of those moments, isn't it, that he's involved in, and it goes against us again.
That's
it. The guy can't buy luck at the moment, can he?
No, but Paul, Andy says here, Bamford's touch last night was heavy every time the ball went to him. It was very heavy. You could tell he's not played a lot of football.
The one where he got blown offside, like even if he hadn't been blown offside, the way he took that ball, bounced it up in the fucking air, the defender cleared it anyway. That's
the thing. Like, but again, like you said, Jay, we can't blame Bamford for that because he was on the pitch for minimal amount of time, really, when you look at it. And obviously we want him to come on and make an impact, but when the team isn't performing to the level it did for the first 40 minutes, it's hard for someone to come on and make an impact in that kind of team.
Absolutely. It's you can't come on and lift everybody.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. And when it's like nobody knows what's actually going on, why they're playing like this, what are you supposed to do? I mean, it must be so frustrating for a manager to watch a team just switch off.
Yeah.
And it's, and it's a reflection on you and your management. And that's got to be frustrating as well.
Yeah. Like he went straight down the tunnel after the goal was scored last night.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And
he wasn't happy.
When it was mentioned that had happened, I was kind of hoping for some form of massive reaction. And to be fair, it didn't actually really come in that second half at all.
No,
like the last 5-10 minutes of the game, it was like we all of a sudden started panicking, going, geez, we only have a few minutes left. We need to do something about this. And that's when we started applying.
Yeah, we came back to life at the end.
Yeah, we started applying the first half
no
pressure.
Good.
Yeah, you don't do that. Like, it's like it's weird to say it. It's like they knew that if they kind of set back and didn't play as well in the second half, they'd have that energy for the last 10 minutes like they showed.
Yeah.
But that's no good if you're chasing a winner, like, you know what I mean? It's like ultimately it looked like it paid off until Bamford was called offside. But
yeah,
that's not how you go about winning a football match. You don't let the other team into it when you're dominating. And they didn't do a fat lot. Like they caught us out
very good.
When we were no, they weren't very good.
They just had that one quick lad up front, and as we've seen a few times this season, we struggle with that. Yeah, we've got no pace at the back, especially with Cooper playing.
No, I don't think Cooper played badly yesterday. No, to be fair,
he didn't. He didn't. To be fair,
I think
that was fucking funny though when he got left for dead by that player. You know, do you remember it second half? And it were like, Jesus Christ! Like, he was miles away. It was like this lad had jumped on bus, and Cooper was still running down the road after it.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? But like I saw someone trying to blame Cooper and Firpo for their goal, and I was looking at the goal, going that could be any number of players to blame for that. We could blame bloody Ampadu for the misplaced pass into Somerville that he just managed to pick up, but then he lost it again, and then they broke. You could blame Archie Gray for putting his foot on the ball when he should have probably tried to boot it out the pitch, you know?
You could blame the ball for falling in the wrong fucking place, man. It were really lucky for him. It were poor from our point of view, like from a concentration standpoint, but the ball fell really fortunate to him, and it were put in a position where it would have been hard to miss. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, and if it was us on the other end of that kind of goal, we'd be like, geez, we were lucky there, but we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I saw someone criticising Meslier for getting beat at his near post again, but I don't blame him for that goal. It was just everything happened so quickly.
Yeah, I was in the middle of replying to in the group last night, and it looks to me, when I'm not making excuses for anyone now at all, but because it is essentially poor keeping as well.
Yeah.
But Meslier looks like he gets wrong-footed in the sense that the player is coming inside and shapes to shoot in the far corner. So he thinks his near post is safe, like, because like I think it's Rodon that's in front of him.
Danny's saying Meslier should be saving near post shots.
He should be, but if the natural weight of his body is going one direction and he has to try and get back down in the opposite direction, it's always going to make it harder for him. Like, because you're looking at your defender to try and get a foot on that ball if it's coming to that post that he's meant to be saving it at. Whereas Meslier is then covering the far post because that's where ultimately it looks like the shot's going. Now, I do get Danny's point there. He should be, but that to me isn't really kind of a near post save, like, you know, he's fucked up on before.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
And I just think, like, if we start picking at small things like that when he's actually looking at the ball and he's weighing up his options, he's got like defender in front of him, defender's got the attacker and closing down the space for him to not be able to have that shot into the near post corner. And Meslier is doing his job by trying to cover the far left, the far post then. So It swings and roundabouts when it comes to that kind of thing. I think those particular situations are different. But if it's a case where it's Melia's 1-on-1 and he gets beaten at the near post where he's only got like a foot and a half to defend of the near post, then that kind of near post thing you get very, very frustrated at. Like,
yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. It's not something where he had a chance to set himself and he positioned wrong for it. It was the fact that it happened in a flash and he just had to have a go. He was just caught, as you say, wrong-footed, bodied wrong way. Not much he could do for me in that.
Yeah, well, you can see how Melia dives. Like, he doesn't get any purpose from his legs at all. It's more of a I'm falling to try and save it at that side because I'm already set for the other side. So it's not like he dives on it. It's like he's trying to readjust the fall on it, I think, and that's the way I saw it. Like,
yeah, I think so. But
like, I think we could go on about that all day long and still no one will kind of agree fully on it. But that goal should have been prevented before it even got into the 18-yard box.
Yeah, definitely. So, it shouldn't have got to that point, should it?
No, so there's far more players that could probably look at themselves and go, right, we should have done a lot better there. Can't blame Mez for that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, no, that's it. I was going to ask you what you felt about this, actually, when I can bring it up.
All right.
Because this was a bit of a talking point. I have to scroll through a long list of shit now when I'm trying to find things.
Oh, right. It's like that. Oh, that's...
So what about this?
Stonewall penalty all day long.
And nothing was said. I don't think the commentators even said out about it.
It was only when they watched the replay.
Could be wrong, though.
I think it was only when they watched the replay.
It's out of control there. That's a straight red.
Yeah. But you're looking at it, when you look at it from, again, we discussed VAR and the whole still image thing a few times, like, and it makes it look worse than it actually is. But that is as bad as it actually seemed in real time. But when you're watching that particular instant from the camera behind the goal, you can see that the referee's his vision isn't obstructed in any way to be able to call that not a penalty. Like,
it's terrible. It's stupid. It's a really piss poor decision.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but the other side of it is then as well, we're lucky that we didn't concede a late goal either. Like, you know, there was one or two opportunities for them where they broke because we were trying to press high up the pitch again, and that fast lad, Mbumbo or whatever is it?
Mbembo.
Is that the dude?
Oh no, it's Ndombe, wasn't it?
Ndombe, that's the one. Yeah. There
You're making me think of players that I don't think even play for Rotherham.
Yeah, that was
Ndombe. Yeah, he was very quick. He was good.
That's the guy
absolutely that thought he'd scored a goal, didn't he? When Cooper somehow got in the way.
Yeah. Like he broke quite a few times in the last few minutes when we were trying to press a bit, and Jordan Hugel came on and started to bully a little bit in the midfield and win balls back quite deep to play off to your man. And there was one or two chances where they could have gotten in if it wasn't for some good defending and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, like I said last night, I was cautious about this kind of game. I was treating it quite like the Plymouth one. I'm glad we came away with a point considering how we played for the second half, really.
Yeah, I mean, we could easily have ended up losing it the way it went. It's just at that point in sort of the late first half when it said we'd had 75% possession, they'd had 25, and I just don't understand how we lifted our foot off the gas so far that we basically went backwards.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not quite sure what is said at half time, because if he's gone down to the dressing room when that goal is scored, he's clearly annoyed at what he's seen. So why have they come out and started performing exactly the same as they did in the last 10 minutes of the first half as they did for the whole of the second? Like, I don't understand what's being said in the dressing room. Now, I'm not slating or criticizing anyone, but if a manager is that annoyed with his players for a spell of 7 to 10 minutes in the first half, surely there's a better reaction than that when they come out for the second.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think he would have gone nuts at him, but I don't know. We're not going to know what he said, are we? But It's just it's disappointing. It's disappointing because you think, oh well, we'll have a reset, we'll come back out and we'll do what we started the game doing, and we'll just get back to that and we'll keep going, we'll win this game. And it didn't go that way at all. We ended up kind of on the back foot then and more worried about them than we were concentrating on our own attacks.
Yes, I'm not sure what the story is there, but like it has a touch of Bielsa-esque about it, where against the top teams in the division, we seem to perform at this optimal level that we can just, even if we win 1-0 against Leicester, it looks like the most convincing 1-0 win that we've ever got. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then we come up against the likes of Rotherham and Plymouth, and we just seem to come undone. Granted, we got the win against Plymouth, but we just seem to come undone. And it's a regular theme that we've witnessed for 3.5 years under Bielsa, where we just absolutely we're like all over the bleeding top teams, but just not able to finish off the bottom teams. It's something that we need to seriously look at. Like,
it's seriously frustrating as a fan to watch that. It's just like I were a bit annoyed I didn't manage to get a ticket for Rotherham, but in the end I thought, fuck me, freezing cold, stood there watching that tripe for the second half. I'd have just been pissed off in the end that I'd ended up going. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard. It doesn't make sense to me that we can be as good as we can be, but then play like that at other times. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Danny makes a good point here as well, Jay. He says Rotherham had a game plan, they stuck to it and got a result. Fair play to them. Danny, you're absolutely spot on there. They've done that.
Knock it long. I know that quick guy gets on it.
Well, they've done that with every team that's come there. Like, they've only lost 2 games at home all season. And for a team to be down where they are at the minute, and to say they've only lost 2 at home all season, you can see that they do play to their strengths in there. Like, and it's
mate, to be fair to them, if you're in that position and you've got a squad like theirs and you've got a pacey guy up front, then that's like that's your golden egg, in it, because you're gonna get some results in the Championship against Championship centre backs.
Yeah.
You can soak up as much as you want, knock it long, and if he gets 1 or 2 in a game, you're going to probably win that game if your defending's up to scratch, in a lot of cases. So you can see why a team might play that way in the Championship. It will yield results. They're not a team that's got any aspirations of sort of doing anything. They just want to stay there, and it's going to work for them, I think. But it's it's frustrating as hell when you've got such quality, but you get undone so easily at times, and that's what I find difficult to comprehend.
Yeah.
It's easy to blame Cooper, and I have done many times, but that wasn't really down to him anyway. What happened last night, he didn't really do anything wrong in that game.
No,
he actually played pretty well. He were lacking pace, but we know that, and it's just something we have to deal with. We don't have a really pacey centre back, do we?
No, well, I think there's enough pace in Strike and Rodon, but Cooper's legs, you could see last night, they're just off the off a quick turn. He's completely caught. There's no catching up to the player when he gets turned, as he did a few times last night. But that's not to say he played badly. Like, it's just, we all know, he probably knows it. It's just his legs are going at the minute, like, and it's
I mean, happens. He turns like Austin Powers in that tunnel on that little cart.
Essentially,
you know what I mean? But as I say, he didn't do all wrong last night. He just you can't have a go at a guy for not having pace. That's kind of just is what it is, isn't it? That's not him doing something wrong. That is what it is.
And we all know what Cooper's like, and he'd probably admit that himself anyway.
Of course he would. I think Cooper would turn around and probably say, "Yeah, I'm not best player in the world." He doesn't come across as that kind of guy, does he? But we do need better. We need someone quicker at the back, because Strike, Creswell, Cooper, Rodon, none of them are quick. No, Rodon's not terrible, but he's not quick.
Charlie Cresswell's no slouch now, to be fair. Like, but then you're putting 2 right-footed players in the centre backs in there if you take out Strike, or It's
do you know what? If he's significantly quicker than the other options, I'd put him in regardless.
Yeah,
because we've seen how much we struggle against pacey forwards. We do struggle.
Yeah. With that in mind, Jay, Kenny here, Kenny Campbell. How are you, Kenny? Fark made changes too late. At least Nanto looked like getting involved again. I opened up FootMob there. Yeah, we're open for sponsorship, FootMob. And I see what Danny's point is. Like, there was 3 subs made on 70 minutes. I thought from the minute we kicked off in the second half, give the players on the pitch another 10 minutes at most. Make changes at 60 minutes. I know 70 minutes is only 10 minutes later, like, but that 10 minutes could be significant. Like, you could see that Jorginho was clearly kind of starting to struggle a bit with whatever knock he came back from France with. And Nanto looked probably to have his best substitute appearance for a while there. I think he's lost a lot of timber as well, has Nanto?
He looks like he has a bit,
Yeah, he looks a lot slimmer, like, so I thought he started to get into the game, and prior to the game last night, when he came on against Plymouth, we had a lot of defending to do, you know?
Yeah.
So we didn't really get to see what his progress is like since the injury.
I wish he'd crossed that when he shot, though.
Yeah. See, again, that's the decision making, isn't it? It's like, and to be fair to him, he just scored a bag full of goals on international break as well, so his confidence is probably high. Like, so
fair play to him for having a go. I just wish he hadn't.
Just wish he hadn't.
It's individual errors. We need Farke to sit him down and point these things out to him and show him and say, look, this is something you need to consciously work on, because you need to make this something that's wiped out of your game. You need to make it instinctive to not do that, and that takes time, but they've got to work on it.
I think so, yeah, and it's something that they're going to need to do pretty quick, because we have a game Wednesday again at home to Swansea. So it's going to need to be picked up and ironed out fairly lively over the next 2-3 games. Like,
Piroe will be itching to score against them, surely.
You'd hope so, yeah. I want to kind of ask you, Jay, what do you? I know Farke gave a 15-minute answer as to why he does it, like, but are we starting to see any kind of understanding as to why Farke is playing Piroe that way? And
what you mean from a layman's point of view, watching it?
Yeah, like, because I'm not seeing the benefits of it so much at the minute. Like, I'm not criticizing Farke or Piroe for his performances or anything, but I just want to know when it's going to start, really ticking there, because that's the idea, is that he's late arriving in the box, but when we're not choosing the correct final ball, then that's pointless, him being late in the box.
Yeah,
you'd rather have him on the 18-yard spot or on the 6-yard spot where most of those balls are going. Like,
I'd rather have him playing like a poacher than like false 9 or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it really, because I don't see how you justify it when neither of them are really scoring goals. It's like, surely he must have thought, putting Rutter up front, he was going to bag a few himself, and he's got a couple, but he hasn't scored many.
Yeah.
And Piroe seems to be suffering for it because he's never in the right place at the right time. For me,
he's always too deep.
Yeah, and then when he does get a shot, it's him coming into the box with it, and he's trying to take a long range shot, and it's just not happening for him. Like that one where he, who was it? Was it Leicester early doors when he turned and he had that shot? Like, we want a bit more of that from him, but maybe a bit closer in.
Yeah, well, I think that kind of area is his bread and butter as well. When you look at some of the goals that he's got for Swansea, where granted they're from outside the box and they're spectacular looking goals for the most part, but he has that finish on him, and that's kind of why I want him in that area. That's he shouldn't, like, if I was looking after that team, I wouldn't have him dropping any deeper than the centre backs.
No,
because
definitely not.
Some of the goals he scored for Swansea, you can see that he played off the last man, and you could see that he has pace. This is the thing. Like we saw that for sure against Ipswich, where he picked the ball up inside the centre circle, played it forward to Nanto, and by the time the pass from Jorginho came in, sure, he'd already done a step over and he was in on to finish. And that doesn't show me that he's any sort of a slouch. So for him to be able to play off the last man, I think is probably far more suitable than having him play further back.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm just going to pull this comment that Danny's made. He says, Piroe isn't a 9. That's the reason he's not playing there. He played 10 at Swansea, and that came from Swansea podcast saying he played more in the 10, never was a 9. Now, I've heard that. I've seen that. I get that. Yeah. But for me, in our system, I feel like he'd be better in the 9 purely because the way Ruta plays the ball, carries the ball, his vision and stuff, he would be much better at the link-up play aspect in the 10 for me than Piroe is. Piroe struggles with link-up play. He doesn't always make the right pass, or he can get caught in possession. It doesn't look natural to him. And maybe he did play at 10 in Swansea, but maybe the way they played 10 was different to the way we play 10.
Yeah, it's the system he's playing in. Like, if the system doesn't suit the role he's meant to be playing in the 10, perhaps then using him in that position isn't the wisest thing to do. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's all about the system and the way that we play. And if he can't fit into that, then you've got to maybe look at that. But do you feel like with that long explanation that Farke gave, that he's now made it impossible for him to change it?
Yeah, that kind of... Yeah, that also brings me on to a good point there that Jamie has made. He's happy with Farke, but has an air of stubbornnness about him, like most good managers. This is the thing. Like, I heard... like, again, it's not a criticism of Farke or anything like that. It's just observations. You heard a few Norwich fans saying that when they got relegated the first time, he wasn't willing to change his style of play to try and get them out of it, to be a bit more stubborn, you know. But
yeah,
I think our style of play is good, and I think it's a lot more effective for us than Norwich, in the sense that we've probably got better players than Norwich had, bar Buendia and I don't know, maybe Pookie perhaps in the Championship. But I think our starting 11 is better than theirs. The players that we have in there are probably better than the ones they had. So the style of play I'm not too bothered about. It's just the positioning of players that could get a bit frustrating down the line, rather than the way we're playing as such.
The thing is, if we're winning games and we're scoring loads of goals, no one cares. But we're not. We're winning most games. We're not losing at the moment, thankfully, but we're not scoring enough, not anywhere near enough. When you go into Rotherham and you're getting 1 goal with a forward line like ours, like, they should be like licking the lips, man, at the prospect of playing them. They should be salivating, eager to get out there, chomping at the bit.
Well, that's it exactly, man, and I don't think it dawns on them until fucking the last 10 minutes of the game that they're playing this team that they could potentially get a good goal difference against, you know, but get our goals far up, like, you know. It's fairly annoying now, I'll be honest. But look, how many more games is there? There must be at least another 30 plus games anyway. Like,
I don't know, actually. Let me pull the table up and just check, because I can't remember where we're at.
So we played 17 games.
Okay, there we go. So we've got 21 left.
Yeah. So that's no, you've got fucking 31 left.
I'm thinking of Premier League.
Yeah. Wrong division, Jay. So we've got 31 games left. I don't think it's a massive problem at the moment. If we can keep going the way we're going, I think we'll be all right. But we could drop to 4th today now.
We could, and I'm really disappointed that they missed opportunity to put pressure on the top 2, because if we'd won that game, they would have started to feel a little bit of heat going out today. Now they're going to be out there like, fuck it, Leeds did fuck all. We've missed a chance. We've missed a chance there.
Yeah.
I don't see us catching the top 2 now. It's just, I want to believe that we could, but We're just too inconsistent, Karl. If we're going to turn out like that against the likes of Rotherham, the likes of Stoke, the likes of Birmingham, the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, how do you get automatic promotion, dropping points against all those sides?
Well, we have to play Ipswich before Christmas.
It's not enough, is it?
Well, look, would you rather go up? We don't have to get top spot. I'll take second automatic.
Are you aware of our record in playoffs?
Well, this is what I'm saying. That's why I said second. Second goes up automatically as well, Jay. So
it does, yeah.
What we should be thinking now is right, let's catch Ipswich first.
Absolutely, but
I think, depending on what their result is like today, we have to play them in December at home. See, look there, Danny. Look, I still think we West Bromwich Albion beat Ipswich.
Hey, that's Danny who said we were finishing 14th. So if he believes it, maybe it's on.
But that's the thing. Forget Leicester, even though they're on the same points, whatever the case may be. Catch second first.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Make that the priority rather than fixating on the fact that Leicester are there. Man, they're more rattled than us. They should have been 17 points ahead of us.
I don't disagree with any of that. I just feel like we've probably given them a bit of a boost during that game.
Yeah, but Ipswich went there 2 weeks ago and drew 2-2 when they were 2-1 up with in the 87th minute or something. So
I remember that game. I was watching it like, oh, come on, Rotherham, you fuckers.
Yeah, I think
last night I was like, fuck off, Rotherham, you fuckers.
But yeah, so like Leicester have to go there as well, and it's not an easy place by the looks of things. Well, from going off last night,
you're starting to sound like Kevin Keegan.
Why?
It's not easy to go there and get some. You've got to go to Leeds. Whatever he said.
Yeah. I'd love it. Well, there you go. So
if you grow your hair again, you might look a bit like him.
I might do. We'll see.
Get a perm going on.
It's coming into routine. It's coming into Christmas and winter and all that properly now, so I might need to just let it grow.
That's it. You need some of this to cover you up and keep you warm.
Oh man, sure. Like Luke was on about doing Movember in the group. Sure,
God,
a warm, wet towel would shave me now. Still at this stage, you know what I mean? So
fuck that. You'd look like some kind of low-level mafia gangster if you grew a tash.
I do, yeah.
You'd have to have the little gap in the middle.
Oh, would I? Yeah, and then slick my hair.
Two lines. Like fucking
come out with a cigar going, see?
Going like that with other hand.
What do you say?
Right, I'm going to pull up some comments because we've got some early on that I starred and we ain't got to yet. I'm just going to fire through them. So I don't think we'll go much longer, will we? There's not a massive amount left to say about that. No. Danny said the pod dodger should always prepare the night before.
Didn't say anything when I was on the other podcast last night on my laptop about an update. So
Liam says second half we were terrible and the subs made no difference. In some ways we were worse then. Yeah, it's a fair point. This is going quite slow for me, by the way, because everything is lagging today for some reason. Okay. Paul says we did seem to drop off in the second half, Liam B. Danny again says just hope we bounce back against Swansea on Wednesday. I think we're all hoping for that one.
Yeah,
that's a big game for us now.
Yeah.
Liam says when we scored a goal, Rotherham looked a defeated team. Even their own supporters were booing them. That was a point to push on, but we dropped in the attacking side of the game. Yeah, 100%. And good old Don Goodman, our mate on commentary, he was saying, wasn't it? Oh, they just need to get in just one down at half time. They just need to get in one down and regroup. And then they scored that fucking goal.
Fucking scored. Yeah. So that was fun. You still there?
We got a point, which is better than no, but we should have been out of sight in the first half. Again, all very valid points. We've got some clever people on our pod, haven't we? Yeah. Andy Halo says, was that performance last night down to players coming back from international duty and not enough preparation? What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think Friday was too soon for international players to be playing a game. Yeah.
I don't know about not enough time for preparation. I feel like they shouldn't need much prep to go out and play the way that they can and beat Rotherham. But yeah, it's a big ask, isn't it, to jump straight back in on a Friday night.
Well, there is that, and also I'm assuming Fark would have looked at how Rotherham play at home and decided on potentially altered tactics in a way, where he knew the long ball was coming, so potentially sit a little deeper and expect like even Don Goodman said it, like that Rodon and Cooper won every aerial duel, so you could see that there was some element of a plan there, but maybe. Yeah, I think Friday was too soon for the international players, if I'm being honest. I think there is elements of tactics within that formation that would have been changed for Rotherham because of how Rotherham plays. So maybe just not up to speed on what wanted doing, you know. They only came back, Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday, I think.
So, yeah, it's 2 days, like, you know.
They'll have been doing recovery, wouldn't they, for most of Thursday? And
I'd imagine it'd be more.
Yeah. Bit of a tactical briefing or something, and maybe a bit of running and kicking a ball Friday morning.
Yeah.
That'll be about it, won't it?
I'd imagine so, yeah. It wouldn't have been much more than that now. So it's
everyone else gets an extra day off.
Yeah. It's not great preparation, to be fair, was it?
No, it must be frustrating for the manager as well, that. Because you know you're up against it, don't you? You know you're going to struggle, and it's through no fault of your own.
Yeah. But with that in mind, and players coming back late, just before we go on, Jay, when do you think Mateo Joseph is going to get a look in this team? He's scoring for fun for the under-20s, under-21s, and he's scoring hatfuls for England as well. Like, he's one of those that I wouldn't like to see leave because he has great potential. Like,
I think he's changing his name to Mateo Joseph Edmondson because it's the new Ryan Edmondson, and he ain't gonna ever play.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember everyone were calling him to play at times? Like, we were crap then as well. And they were banging in for fun, and everybody wanted him to get a chance in the first team, and no manager would put him in.
Yeah, it's mad.
I'd love to know what it is that they see in under-21 players that they think, yeah, he's shit up, but nah, won't work.
Doesn't have it for the first team.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get that. But yeah,
I would like to see him play. He's out of all the young talents we've got, he's the one I think is most exciting up front. Like, Joffrey doesn't seem to have progressed, sadly. Perkins has apparently got a bad attitude and he's not doing fuck all, is he, at Oxford? So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Don't know the answer to that one.
Just to hope he's not overlooked, because they're the type of players that see, like, again, scenario could be the same as Leif Davis.
Could be Cody Drammy, could get fucked off and run his contract down.
Yeah, but I'd be more worried about a Leif Davis situation where he didn't get the opportunities in the first team, and all it took was a run of games to get him to playing how he's playing and delivering on a consistent basis as well. So I just hope that doesn't happen with Joseph. Like
I said before on here, like, people are like, oh, we should never let Davis go. But Leif Davis, who you see now, that wouldn't be who he is if he'd stayed at Leeds, because he wouldn't have had that development. He wouldn't have played first team football. He's become that player because he's had that exposure to proper men's football and he's grown into it. He wouldn't have got that here. The opportunities weren't there.
Well, he might have got the opportunity with how much Firpo.
He might now.
We might not have had to break Pascal Struijk last season to fucking play him at left back.
But then we won't sign Sam Byram.
Yeah, you don't know. We might have signed Sam Byram anyway. We didn't necessarily have a right back. We had Byram in before we had Jed Spence. So you know, there is that, like,
the missing man, Jed Spence. Yeah. We got a comment on that actually, asking where he was and why he'd not played. No idea on that. We were expecting him back, weren't we?
Well, apparently there was talk of him being back after the international break. So
he was training last week.
Yeah, maybe Friday was just a bit too soon. Like, maybe Wednesday will be the kind of stepping up part.
I just hope he's not had a reaction, that's all. Because when you've been out a couple of months, that happens, doesn't it? Because your body, it needs to get used to it again.
Yeah.
You get muscle injuries and sprains and shit, don't you?
Yeah, it's very easy to get all that again once you've been out for quite a while. Like, so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Nice to see him even on the bench now on Wednesday, even if he doesn't start.
Absolutely. Just pull a few more comments and we'll wrap up, I think. Andy says, fair play to Pascal, back on the pitch 3 weeks after a double hernia operation. Absolutely. Take my hat off to that man.
Yeah. The pirate.
Yeah. Loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Leads through and through.
Getting the armband as well. Happy
days. Paul Brennan says, we do need a number 10 in January. I do hope we hang on to Somerville, because if he goes, we could struggle. We're not a one-man team, but Somerville is crucial. We hang on to him. Fingers crossed. Absolutely agree with that one.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere, to be fair. Like he's made his feelings known at the start of the season, and I think Fark trusts him quite a lot now. He's probably the first name on the team sheet after Ampadu, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Liam B says the referee was so bad, missed a nailed-on penalty against Somerville if it had been given a definite red card. 100%. We mentioned that earlier, didn't we? I don't know how anyone could look at that and not come to the same conclusion, to be honest with you.
Well, like that Peltier is getting sent off if that's fair. Like
Peltier is a fucking wanker, isn't he? He's a
But
shit player. He's got a shit attitude, and he looks irritating. He's got one of them faces you want to punch.
Yeah, a little bit.
And one last. Farker, he wasn't happy in his interview after the match, so he could see how the match panned out. Yeah, well, bare minimum, I'd hope for, to be fair. I hope he kicks their asses. I hope any sort of days off that we were going to have this weekend are cancelled, to be honest with you. They don't deserve it. Don't flog them into the ground, you know, and injure them, but make them go around and paint some fucking walls or something. Give them some Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off.
Yeah. Get in their ear and fucking have a word.
Get them around Farkers doing gardening and cleaning house and stuff.
Yeah. Get a load of leaves that he needs blowing off his lawn, so get it sorted.
Oh, man. Liam says Joseph should be picked before Bamford, just going back to what we said before. I definitely agree with that. Jammy's with you there too.
Yeah. Matt,
Danny says, sorry. Danny says, like Farker said, if they ain't doing it in training, they ain't starting. So that could be something, but...
Yeah.
How many great footballers, though, have we had, like, you hear stories from ex-pros, don't you? They're like, oh, yeah, he was shit in training. He didn't run around, didn't do out, but then when game day come, he just went out there and smashed it. Like, want Gazza like that? He didn't.
Viduka was apparently like that as well.
If you're doing it on pitch, then I don't care what you're doing in training, personally.
Yeah.
But we're not the manager.
Yeah, Matt Leeds says, how are you, Matt? DJ, Dan James.
G'day.
Pen again, just like versus Newcastle 2 seasons ago. Yeah. I think where that stems from is that he's known for going down a little easy in certain scenarios, and he kind of got found out a bit like that in the Premier League when he was playing for Scum a bit. So I think refs would be reluctant to give Dan James penalties without VAR because they're not quite sure, you know. Look, it's a reputation some players have, and unfortunately, he didn't get it at us. He got it at that fucking lot over the Pennines.
Yeah, that's the poison that comes with him.
Yeah, so I get that as well. Like, but I think that there's times where the ref has such a good view of that. There's absolutely no way you can't give anything but a penalty and a red card. Like anywhere else on the pitch, that's a sending off.
Do you think the ref will get demoted for that, or do you think it'll just be overlooked?
I don't think any refs in the championship would really get demoted for any decisions they make, because they can't be held liable when there's no VAR. Whereas if there's VAR, then the ref comes under a lot more scrutiny.
I dread to think
on the pitch.
Yeah, that's true. I dread to think though what kind of refs you get at sort of League One and League Two level these days, because fuck me, if these guys are in Championship because they're not good enough to be in Premiership, then fuck knows how bad they are below this.
Yeah,
I've seen it a few times now, and I've turned to the guy next to me at Elland Road and I've said, "Oh, same again. Ref's not biased. He's just shit."
He's just shit.
Because they seem to be shit both ways in a lot of the games I've seen.
Yeah,
I noticed when we were in the Championship last that we seemed to get a lot of stuff against us, like disproportionately. It seemed like we didn't get a penalty, did we? 52 games, whatever it was.
Yeah,
but like this time, it seems like the refs are just shit. Like for both sides, they're just crap refs.
That's there's no. Like that's why I don't think any of them would get demoted. Like you can't really.
Yeah.
I think the standard in the EFL, let's be honest, it's the same from the League One up to the Championship. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
let's not beat around the bush here. It's fairly bog standard stuff.
It's piss poor. Something needs doing with it, but that's a conversation for a whole other pod.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think on that note we'll wrap it up, mate. We've got Swansea Wednesday, and we'll be going, won't we? So,
yep.
Not a clue who's on B and C for that. It's probably us again. It always seems to be at the moment.
Yeah. So.
I think you and me are both on main pod with Luke, I think.
On Tuesday?
Yeah, on Tuesday.
Cool in the gang.
So we will be back, and I'd like to say thanks everybody for coming and joining us on a Saturday morning after a shit Friday night. But we appreciate you. Keep watching, and we'll keep coming and talking rubbish and bollocks and doing what we do.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, folks.
Cheers, everyone. We'll catch you Tuesday.
Bye-bye.